I'll bring my telly down. We can do a little jam after it all wraps up. And yeah, Ken, Tyler, and I are all booked up. We get in Friday, and I guess we'll meet Saturday morning. Yeah, I'm excited to see the guitar, man. We'll have some fun. All right, talk to you soon. Bye. All right, we're going to Austin. We just landed in Austin. It's hot, it's sweaty. We're gonna go to the hotel, we're gonna go find some Tex-Mex, and we're gonna go to the legendary venue, Antone's.
Next year is the 50th anniversary of Antone's. Clifford passed away in 2006. Myself, Zach, and Gary Clark Jr. all grew up, inspired by Antone's, inspired by Clifford. We were kind of looking at each other like, which one of our heroes is gonna jump in and, save the day? And it was intimidating, but it also was like a calling and a responsibility that we just felt like it's our turn to kind of carry on this tradition, and it's been an honor to be handed that torch and hopefully doing right by Clifford looking down on us.
So we're standing here with Zach Ernst, who's not only the talent buyer, but kind of the unofficial historian, or official, I guess at this point. You guys are starting a museum. All the names have played here. It's such an important establishment.
Clifford Antone from Port Arthur, Texas opened this club on July 15th, 1975. This is the 6th location of Antone's. The first one was actually 2 blocks away across from the Driscoll at 6th and Brazos. That was the club that opened in 1975. Moved around a couple times.
And how long has this location been here?
We've been here almost 10 years. Most of these photos and posters are from the 6th and Brazos location where it started, as well as Guadalupe. Kim Wilson of the Fabulous Thunderbirds with Junior Wells, and James Cotton in the kitchen at Antone's on Guadalupe. Stevie's first band that he played with kind of on this scene, or got really known as a member of the Cobras. Here's the great Derek O'Brien, Jimmy Vaughn, Luann Barton. Of course, Buddy Guy, he made a home at Antone's back in the 80s. And if you look in really close, you can see Derek O'Brien's reflection on the 335. A lot of these photos were taken by Susan Antone. She's still around and helps us all the time. This is one of her favorite photos, which is of Stevie Ray Vaughan with Albert Collins. And you can see Stevie playing a telly, which he didn't play too much. Clifford Antone with Pinetop Perkins and Sunnyland Slim. And as the story goes, Sunnyland was one of the first Chicago blues musicians that he brought down here, and he went back to Chicago and spread the word to all the other Chicago players about, hey, there's this crazy kid down in Austin who's, loves the blues and is taking good care of everybody and playing. They have a great house band, so you can go by yourself, and they were getting backed up by bands like the Cobras and the Thunderbirds and things like that. And so Sunnyland, Clifford always gave a lot of credit to him for kind of telling everyone back home in Chicago about what we were doing down here.
It kind of snowballed into what it was just from the respect from club owner to musician. Is that, it seems like that played
I would say so, yeah. There was a big revival in this kind of music from like Zeppelin doing Willie Dixon songs, and the Stones bringing Howlin' Wolf out to be on TV with them, and Cream and things like that. But by the mid-70s, the blues wasn't really what it was in the 50s or 60s, and disco was getting into fashion and all that, but there was this cult of people down here and at places like the Rome Inn that were obsessed with the music, playing the music, could play it, and it just so happened it was people like Jimmy Vaughn and Kim Wilson, Denny Freeman, Derek O'Brien. 1976, I believe, one of Susan's photos of the night that Stevie met Albert King. Clifford kind of helped talk Albert King into letting him sit in, which he was a pretty scary dude, you know, so that was a real pivotal moment for the scene and also in both of their lives to meet each other, and that was a real big deal. And of course, this is one of my very favorite guitar players. Y'all would know what that is, like a
Les Paul Jr.
Yeah, Junior. This is a drawing of Denny Freeman, who was in the Cobras with Stevie. He went on to play with Bob Dylan, and he played here at the club a ton when we opened, and we all miss him very much. And there's Clifford, there's Hubert Sumlin, of course, from the Howlin' Wolf records, and then for people who are into music and into blues, you know these names. Jimmy Rogers was on all the Muddy Waters records. Eddie Taylor played, of course, with Jimmy Reed and also John Lee Hooker and people like that. But a lot of these folks weren't household names, or the names of the sidemen weren't on the 45s, so it was very hard to find out who these guys were, and that's kind of a big part of what Antone's was about, was introducing these people to a new audience.
All right, so day 2 in Austin. We had a blast at Antone's last night, but today is why we made the video. We flew down here to check out a guitar that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy. I have Tyler here to check it out and make sure it is what it is, but it's one of the rarest guitars on the planet and just one that everybody loves. Additionally, we're standing next to Phil Hurley. Phil worked at Emerald City Guitars way back in the day. When I was a young man about that tall, to me, just one of the most tasteful guitar players, period. And dude, you just like, even when I, you know, like I said, when I was about that tall, you treat me with such respect. It really made guitar cool to me.
Yeah, right on. Well, you're carrying on the legacy, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So he's living in Austin now. He's playing tonight. He's been on the road. You're just
got back from Spain.
Yeah,
the night before last.
With the Gigolo ants,
yeah,
right?
It was phenomenal.
But I needed a killer player to demo this guitar if it is what it is, and we decided to buy it. And
They couldn't find a killer slayer, so they got me.
Yeah, no, man. So we got some Emerald City Guitars alumni. Let's go check this instrument out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Come on.
So he said the door is going to be wedged, and this is great. This is what these are really built for. I feel like I'm in a government building, but appropriate when you're unveiling a guitar of this caliber. But what's up, man? Hey, Noah. Forgot.
It's kind of messy in here, and I apologize for that, but it's a good kind of mess.
Look at this place. Red Whirly, old Mellotron, synthesizers. God, it's just, you can feel it.
Happy kind of mess. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so I know what that is.
That's her.
Man.
Blondie.
Yeah, I've been excited about this, man. We've talked about this from afar, and these are so rare. I mean, as you know, I know this took a long time for you to get in the first place, and it's kind of time to set her free. Yeah, you guys ready? All right, so brown case. You ready? 1959. Gibson ES-335 blonde with a Bigsby, which is so cool. You don't really see that. What a beaut. You know, we just had the 1960, that was Bonamassa's.
I saw that. That was beautiful.
Incredible. It was mint condition, and
Yeah.
it was like, these are inherently just angelic guitars. That was so clean, you're just kind of scared. It's
Yeah.
like, man, you want one that's the dirty blonde, you know?
This one's been loved.
Wow, man.
Even by me.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah. I love this guitar.
Yeah, man.
It's a sad but happy day, I guess. Happy to see you. Sad to see that guy.
Noah is, I've done a couple transactions with Noah, and not only just a gentleman, a pleasure to work with, but the guy's a real player. I mean, he's got records out, killer, prolific songwriter. We were, talking on the phone earlier, and he was saying, I started as a songwriter and about music. Now I'm kind of looking at guitar, like, how do I play this lick and stuff? And I was kind of opposite, like maybe played too much guitar. When I tried to play it in bands, I had to settle down a little bit. But I love your approach to guitars and guitar collecting. And, we had a big transaction a while ago, and it was kind of the inaugural deal. And there's a lot of, okay, is this really what as cool as you're saying it was? And man, you undersold it in a good way. I really trust kind of your opinion on it when you say it sounds good. I mean, look at this place. It's like a mad scientist. It's like Pink Floyd exploded in here. And yeah, man, this is one that we were just stoked. We just sold the other one, and it was time to, fill the void in the showcase. I think that's gonna do it. But yeah, we're gonna have Tyler kind of take a look at it and see what it's all about under the hood. I love the fact that Grail guitar got so approachable with, a couple of things here and there, but it's like, it makes you want to dig into it, not just worship it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. The thing with blonde dot necks, they were only an option from 1958 to 1960 on these 335s. It was a $15 upcharge. The Sunburst model was, I think, $280, and the natural were $295. And there weren't that many of them made. During that time period, I think Gibson put out somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 ES-335s. Of those, there was, I think, just over 200 blondes, and who knows how much of those are left. But yeah, this one's cool. Like you said, a little bit of wear, so you're not scared to really dig in and play it. It sounds amazing. You can just hear it, even unplugged, it rings.
Hit Biggie chord.
Unbelievably, yeah.
It's funny, it has the, this came out later, but
yeah.
It looks kind of cool. It just adds to the vibe, player. It's tough to say player's grade when you're still doing it with a guitar that is like,
oh yeah,
top tier, kind of top of power, but it technically is kind of with the Bigsby with this. And
something to look for on the tuners, they are replacement. If you look inside this hole here on the sides of the tuners, those washers are plastic, they should be metal.
So they're most likely aged?
Yeah, they're just aged repros.
They look good.
They do look good. They look
probably better than the originals.
Probably better than the originals.
Somebody's probably gonna want to maybe find a set and throw it in the case,
Yeah, depending on that. I mean, the big obvious thing is the Bigsby, but like you said, it was done right probably a long time ago. It's an old unit, and have the later plaque on there, but just goes to show, it's very likely been played its entire life, and had this stuff done when there wasn't as much, reverence to these early blonde 335s as there is now.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
So on a lot of amps and whatnot, you see guys back in the day put their license number or their social security number. This is a Swedish social security number, and Tyler and I were just chatting about it because it looks like it's stamped literally perfect font.
See a couple plastic insulated wires in there. Something's been touched up, but other than that, man, it's just an honest, awesome player.
A blonde guitar in 1959, it still feels like it would have been kind of this angelic, more pretty guitar, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well also the wood had to be pretty much perfect on the blondes because, that's why it was an upcharge, is because this wood, you couldn't have little flaws like you could on a Sunburst because, you get a little knot or a pinhole somewhere around the edge, you can just hose some black lacquer over it and, shade it as a Sunburst, and it really opened up the options for materials, whereas with the blonde, you can see just a beautiful piece, flawless maple.
PAFs with a Bigsby. Generally, if a Bigsby's on a guitar, like a 64 335 or later one, man, I mean, you can hear the difference. Yeah. It's cool. If you want a Bigsby, which is such a cool vibrato effect, it's great. But technically, it's like you're losing something. But truly, with the most powerful pickups, having this Bigsby and then this beautiful blonde, it's just such a cool combination.
And on this one, it just works too. I mean, you know, by 1959, Gibson had the neck angle figured out, so the geometry's dead on. You have plenty of height on that ABR1. You know, you can see the break over the bridge is totally sufficient, and the thing rings, man. It just, it works.
All right, so we're about to walk into this cool Austin vintage guitar hang. First, I want some shine light on this awesome restaurant that I came to last time I was here. Could not stop thinking about it.
Welcome to Batch Craft Beer and Kolaches. Kolaches are like a Central Texas, by way of Czech Republic pastry. We do them here just a little bit differently, a little bit more gourmet,
Texas.
I guess. Yeah.
Well,
and we brew beer, and so we do pastries and beer, and all things bad for you and delicious. So, like, yeah, if you tour in Texas, if you're a musician, all the truck stops, and there's some famous ones that are famous for their kolaches. So late night, you're driving home from Dallas, you don't know how you're gonna make it. You stop, you get your kolaches, you get a cup of coffee, and you know you're gonna be okay. So that was kind of our inspiration. We're like, well, this is what we used to eat when we were on the road. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's a public service announcement for anyone touring through Austin. Let's go check it out.
Was really cars and coffee. I don't know if y'all have those back in like Seattle
Literally
area.
what we were saying earlier.
Yeah, but you know, my kid loves going because they give free donuts. So we'll always go to Cars and Coffee, and you know, the owners of like these amazing cars, they're really open. Like they let my kids sit in them in sometimes. And I remember when I first kind of got into vintage stuff, I couldn't afford it, and I'd go to a show, and you know, some dealers would be cool and let you like handle stuff, but we wanted to. Like, let's just do something grassroots, get some people together, bring some cool gear. Like, I don't care if it's like an amazing vintage Strat or like an old Harmony. Like, bring it, let's just hang out and, you know, just enjoy our shared enthusiasm for the stuff.
What a cool experience. That guitar hang was exactly what I wanted to see. A bunch of passionate people, collectors, some killer vintage guitars. We had folks like David Grissom hanging out. It's just concentrated, focused, and totally about the instruments and the community. Very different than a guitar show, and for that I appreciated it a lot. Kind of flowed into a jam later, brought my 52 telly down, so sat in for a couple songs, but more importantly, we got to hear the 59 335 being played, which is so cool. We get so romantic about these instruments, but you rarely get to hear them in context when you're doing these kind of transactions or trades. So being able to sit back and watch somebody play this and do it well, and the stage is filled with a bunch of killer vintage amps, old basements and stuff. Just kind of took you back to another time, and just proves that these instruments just have another level to them. So now it's Sunday. We're gonna go hang out with my buddy Scruff. It's been a year or so since I've been out here, and it is an experience. I guess you could call this the R&R portion of our trip. We've got the 335 in the back. We're gonna hang out for a while, then head over to the airport and fly this baby home.
So this is a temporary space that we've built out. We're building a studio right next door. I'll show you that here in a minute. It's about 4,000 square feet, so we have the full facility to do piano in a drum room, or piano room, drum room, got blast rooms. We're gonna have full control room. This whole experience of being out here is what I want to share.
Well, I know you're the hostess with the mostest, man, so what better place?
Golly, bro. Golly. So check this out. We've got keyboard land, all the fun stuff, Memory Moog, OBXA, Juno 106, the ARP 2600. We got the Memory Moog Opus 3, kind of focused on all of the staples, right? Our Mellotron is actually King Crimson's Mellotron. We've got all their backing tracks, so it's just weird stuff, man. Great story with our organ. We bought it from a local guy here in town. Ended up being, I pulled it out of the trailer and ended up being buckshot on the back side.
No way.
So clearly at some time somebody wasn't happy with somebody. It doesn't get any more Texas than that. I'm the Marshall guy. I love them more than I should. And they always have a home here, but I've got just about every Marshall that you'd ever imagine. Pinstripes all the way down to the custom color stuff. And that's kind of, one of my things is being able to replicate the exact sounds with authenticity.
Yeah.
Be able to use the old gear and the same stuff that all the old records are made on.
I mean, this is amazing. You have basically the entire Fender timeline.
Yeah, man.
All the cool funky amps down to the con tuner, a couple no-casters, broadcaster. Love the soap shoulder. Just picked this up. We were just talking about that. And I mean, everything on the color palette, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and like I said before, man, it's all about the vibe.
Yeah.
Right? So if the instrument has vibe and that can kind of transfer on to the player, like that purple bass up there was on the Chitlin circuit for years. And the bass to the left of it is play that funky music White Boy. That's the bass they used on that track.
God.
I know, just cool, man.
I am shocked that this is the temporary spot, dude. Let's go check out what the new build looks like, man.
Yeah, man, come on, let's do it. After you.
God. I'm using my imagination, but kind of paint the picture for me. What's this gonna look like?
So the whole idea was you pull up, and I know all these studios all over the world. You walk in, there's like a foyer, there's like a lobby.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want it. I want to walk in right to the magic. I want to walk in right to the show. And so what we're gonna have here is a massive glass door, like huge big windows. But you come on in, you walk right in, man, and you're dead center. We're right here in the control room. The exterior of the building is just normal because we don't have like exterior noise. So we don't have like planes and trains and cars and all that stuff. So we're really lucky. Music is creation, and if you get to be around people or other things that inspire you to create, like that's the win-win, man.
Gosh, this room is gonna be so epic.
So you walk in, man, and it's a big room. So
wow, it is quiet in here.
It is quiet, man. It is. Wow. The insulation, the mass loaded, the thickness of the wall. I mean, golly, and the best part is, dude, in my opinion, is we did it all ourselves.
Yeah.
We hired nobody to help. We did it all ourselves, did all the research ourselves. We've done everything with our own
And you were like
crew.
swinging hammer, right?
Yeah, man, exactly. Everything has to be set up, ready to use, no time wasted, and everything has to work.
I cannot wait to come back, and I'm sure it'll be done next time here,
Dude,
man.
And then, the final kind of piece of my puzzle was figuring out how I bring back nature, right? Like how do I bring that in here? And so the building is fully connected via Dante for external recording. So if you want to sit by the fireplace and you want to sit in the grass or sit under the stars or do whatever you want to do, we're fully capable.
You're just such a personable guy and passionate and whip smart. It's like this is right, man. I can feel you're loving it, man. It's in the right place, and it's so cool, dude. I'm so stoked for you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you,
Happy to be here, dude.
Thank you. It's great to have you here, man.
Should we go check out some animals?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should.
What you boys getting?
I'm not sure. Maybe waffles. Waffles to go. Yeah. I think I'm gonna get a waffle.
Yeah, I gotta get a waffle.